Thank you for tuning into my weekly video message. Montgomery County's month of recognizing and commemorating 2 years of fighting the COVID-19 pandemic began last week with Memorial Week, a remembrance of the lives lost to COVID-19 culminating with a beautiful candlelight vigil last Thursday night. I want to thank all those who helped organize the event and those who joined us on that very cold night to honor those we lost. This week is Public Health and Healthcare Week, and we are recognizing the many individuals who have been working tirelessly over the past 24 months to keep us healthy, safe, and alive. From our workers in our hospitals, to clinic staff, to scientists and technicians in the labs, to our own county's health and first responder teams, tens of thousands of our residents, workers, friends, and family have used their skills and talents to respond to COVID and our recovery efforts. We are honoring those indispensable workers during a very sobering time. This week, our planet surpassed 6 million deaths due to this pandemic, with our nation nearing 1 million fatalities, by far the most in the world. This is an important time to express our appreciation to all those who've contributed so much to ensure that the number of deaths from COVID weren't higher. Their perseverance and dedication over the past 2 years has been inspiring. After coming out of one of the worst surges since the beginning of the pandemic, our healthcare workers are overworked and stressed. Now more than ever, they need to be lifted up and encouraged to continue their efforts. I hope all our residents will join in thanking all of these important workers who work every hour of the day, every day of the week, and every week of the year to keep us all safe, healthy, and alive. If you know a healthcare worker, please go out of your way to thank them for their dedication and perseverance. I also want to add a quick note about COVID itself. We're at the point with vaccines and treatments that there is no reason for anybody to die. We have the ability to avoid deaths now. It is incumbent on people to get vaccinated. We should not lose more of our friends and neighbors. If you're vaccinated and need a booster, please get your booster. If you're not vaccinated, please do the right thing for yourself and get vaccinated. While so many of our government employees and county residents have been working tirelessly on dealing with COVID, they remain committed and quick to action when other emergencies occur. I saw this firsthand following last week's terrible explosion at the Friendly Gardens Apartments. I want to thank all the Montgomery County's Fire and Rescue Services, Emergency Management, Health and Human Services, the Housing Department, Montgomery Housing Partnership, and the Red Cross for their work at the Friendly Gardens Apartment in wake of that terrible explosion. I've been out to the apartment multiple times now. We are so fortunate that there were no fatalities. This incident was caused by human error when a maintenance worker mistakenly cut a gas pipe thinking it was a water drain. While we do not yet know all the details, we've determined that this was not a result of a missing permit or inspection. None were required. However, it was clear from the pictures that these pipes were not labeled. Currently, labels are required in newer buildings, but not in buildings this old. We're looking into how to ensure that exposed pipes in all commercial apartment buildings are properly labeled no matter their age. If the pipe at Friendly Gardens had been labeled, this accident might have been avoided. We will determine whether the county can pass legislation or whether this action needs to come from WSSC. But one way or another, we are going to get these pipes labeled properly so this does not happen again. I want to thank our community for stepping up and helping these impacted residents. Immediately following this explosion, our nonprofit partner, the Montgomery Housing Partnership, set up a fund to assist these residents. People already donated more than $496,000 to help these people. This generosity is greatly appreciated and demonstrates how we look after our neighbors when tragedy strikes. We will continue to work with these residents, property management, and our departments, along with the Red Cross and the community as we try to bring normalcy back to the lives following this horrific disaster. If you'd like, you can donate to these residents at mhpartners.org. I was at site on the day of the explosion, and since then, the devastation is heartbreaking. Imagine going to work or school and then coming home to find that everything is gone. Your photos, your clothes, your food, computers, memento, everything gone. These families have to start over again, and your support is making a big difference. In some welcome news, our COVID rates continue to drop. This week, our cases have been hovering in the mid-40s per 100,000 residents. which is about 1/3 lower than the level it was last month, but we're still in moderate transmission levels. Just 2 months ago, on January 8th, we had 2,138 residents per 100,000 testing positive, a level 47 times as high as we are right now. Our test positivity rate continues to drop. We're now at 1.5%, which is a 2 percentage point drop since last month, and over 25 percentage points lower than it was during the height of the Omicron surge. And our hospitals currently have 4.2% of inpatient beds occupied by COVID-19 patients. This is a number that got as high as 30% in early January. We've come a long way. Due to our declining COVID rates and due to CDC guidance, the Board of Education voted this week to end the mandated mask wearing in MCPS schools. Masking will now be optional for students, teachers, and staff. While I know that people are divided on this decision, I appreciated the focus that bullying will not be tolerated by anyone, whether they decide to wear their mask or not. As you've heard me say so many times, masking works. It helps reduce the spread of germs, and I hope that any student, parent, teacher, or staff or member of MCPS in any way feels empowered to make whatever decision they feel they're comfortable with at this point, for their own sake and for their child's sake. This week I attended the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments Board of Directors meeting, which focused on climate change and included a presentation from our interim Department of Environmental Protection Director, Adriana Hushberg. She presented our climate change plan and explained our plan's emphasis on equity. It is one of the most aggressive plans in the country. I wanted to be at the meeting to help emphasize to my colleagues how important fighting climate change is. A regional approach to climate change can make a huge difference. We really need cooperation between other jurisdictions, the state, and the federal government in order to effectively combat climate change. As we've seen, gas prices have hit historic record highs. This is an important time to talk about our local environmental policies and plans and how we can continue to decrease our dependence on oil and other non-renewable resources. I'm proud of the roadmap we've created with our climate action plan to reduce carbon emissions 100% by 2035. I'm also proud of our current work to electrify our fleet vehicles, expand solar production in the county, and put forward our building energy performance standards legislation, which the Council still has not voted on after 11 months of waiting. We will continue to fight for clean energy because it helps us combat climate change. But as we continue to adjust to current gas prices rising due to the war in Europe, I encourage all residents to consider utilizing public transportation, carpooling, or teleworking when these are all feasible options to help you save money, but also to help our environment. And if we're to become energy independent and sustainable, we must start implementing the right environmental policies from the local to the state to the federal level as soon as possible. For those feeling the pinch of high gas prices, we want to let you know that our county's first Go Electric event will take place Saturday, March 19th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This event will showcase the future of electric power, from electric vehicles to power equipment and solar power. The event will take place at Montgomery College in Rockville. It's a free event that will display and have experts on hand explaining the benefits of electric cars, battery-powered yard equipment, solar power, small appliance recycling, and other energy incentives. I hope to see you there on March 19th. I myself made the transition to an electric car in 2013, and I can tell you things have come a long way since then. When I first got that car, I had about an 89-mile range, and it was hard to imagine how we'd get through an entire week on a single charge, and it wasn't always easy to find chargers. Things have changed significantly. Cars routinely have more than 200-mile range, and chargers are becoming more and more available in the county. And we're going to continue to make sure they become more available. So if you're thinking about a car, this is the time to be thinking about an electric vehicle. This week, we recognized International Women's Day, and Montgomery County Women's Commission named their 2022 Women Making History to 31 incredible honorees. Congratulations to these outstanding women who are receiving this award for their invaluable contributions and selfless service to others. They've all made significant contributions in Montgomery County and shown exceptional leadership, serving as an inspiration. Recipients of the award and their accomplishments will be featured each day in March on social media platforms of the Montgomery County Commission for Women and Montgomery Women. They will also be recognized at the Women Making History panel discussion on March 24th at 7 p.m. This year, the event will be held via Zoom. For more information about this event and these organizations, please visit the Montgomery County Commission for Women website or the Montgomery Women website. Finally, this week is National Consumer Protection Week. In 2020 alone, approximately 49 million U.S. consumers lost a combined total of $56 billion in identity fraud alone. We've recently seen and heard of scams of the elderly here in Montgomery County, and with increased pressure on web security and online banking systems, this is an important issue to be aware of and know how to best protect yourself and your family. We're very fortunate in Montgomery County to have a dynamic Office of Consumer Protection who just celebrated their 50th anniversary serving our residents. Their resources, information, training, and accessibility is important for our residents to pay attention and utilize. Please visit the Office of Consumer Protection at montgomerycountymd.gov/OCP or at their social media channels at ConsumerWise. Thank you all again and have a great week.